Napa Valley is known for its wineries and food, but we're going to take you on a little adventure and show you there's a lot more to Napa Valley than that. Produced by Donna Parker. Like Napa, with me, Leanzy. Sports and entertaining at home. Whether it's Super Bowl Sunday, the World Series, or March Madness, it's a great time to get together with family and friends. Part of that fun includes the Napa Valley lifestyle of good food. And why not indulge in the new trend of gastropub food and presentation? That's why I talked with Barbara Alexander, Executive Chef and Director of the Culinary Arts Program for the Napa Valley Cooking School. Chef Barbara is a gastropub food enthusiast. She shared with me the perfect pairing of gastropub food and beer, served at home. Join me as Chef Barbara introduces me to the world of cooking and gastropub food. Tell me a little bit about your background and how you got into cooking.
Well, I had a degree in English literature from university, and I wanted to be a food writer. And I went to cooking school, a French cooking school in Canada, to get a little background on cooking and make sure that I knew what I was talking about when I wrote. And I just, you know what, I absolutely fell in love with it.
Can you tell me a little bit about the fresh vegetables and all those chickens you have outside?
We noticed that we were throwing out 5 to 6 big garbage cans full of food per day. And, you know, food scraps is actually what I mean, not food, but food scraps, vegetable scraps and things like that. And we'd already started a great garden out there. One of the former chefs who worked here had started this really amazing garden, and we wanted to keep that up and alive. But we were throwing out a lot of, like, you know, kale leaves and things like that. And so we came across this idea of getting a flock of chickens, and that would take care of our vegetable scraps. And so we now it's a little more even. It's gone a step further. We have a worm farm, we have a compost, and we have we have a big flock of chickens. And so we pretty much don't waste anything. And we've reduced our waste from throwing out 5 to 6 large garbage cans full of waste every day to down to about a half a garbage can per day.
How did you become interested with gastropub food?
Well, embarrassing. It's probably because I like to drink in bars, and I love really good bars. I think they're fun. And so when I travel, you know, I always try and seek out some place that's like really fun and got a good vibe, but with good food as well. Maybe one of the first places that I went like that was the Spotted Pig in New York City. It's April Bloomfield's restaurant, and it's so great. It's like an old British style pub, but the food's really hip and happening. And so I noticed that a lot of people really got into that whole idea of eating, you know, comfort foods, really great home cooked and delicious, kind of probably fattening and a little bit kind of naughty foods in a bar. And maybe it's the whole idea of being like in this kind of closed bar with like a big bourbon and a really naughty cheese dip or something. I don't know. But it was really, I really kind of got into it. Then I noticed in the Valley, a lot of my favorite restaurants like Archetype and at Solage, they're doing a lot of gastropub foods. Tater tots, and Ryder Zetz makes these amazing tater tots at Archetype. And I just think that, I think people really like that food.
What is the best way to present something fun and different for a gathering like a football game?
You know, think about serving them the things that you're cooking in different containers. Don't just use a standard plate or a platter that you have in your kitchen. Maybe take a galvanized bucket and line it with some wax paper and put your food in the galvanized bucket. Get a bunch of microbrews. There's so many great local microbrews. Get the local microbrews, make a nice little presentation of them, and kind of bring the pub into your own home. Obviously, you know, you're not going to hold it in a pub, and it doesn't even have to be like at your bar in your house. It can just be in your living room or something, but make it kind of have that fun feel. Get some great music going, dim your lights a little bit, don't make it too bright, have some great like alcohol beverages to go with it, and then also have some really fun mocktails to go for the people who don't drink. And I don't know, just use things that are different from your average everyday plateware.
Her students also had some great ideas on how you can present food for your next Super Bowl party.
You don't want to spend hours in the kitchen, especially while your guests are there. So I recommend doing all your dips in advance that you can, and then flashing the hot ones in the oven just before guests arrive. Also make sure your guests know where the hand washing sinks are in a gentle way, because you know it's cold season over the Super Bowl and we're doing a lot of dips with chips and such, so that's a great way to avoid any contamination.
I'm in a family that loves watching football Sunday night, Monday night, and gosh, it's like if you don't have that big, huge platter of food just right there, and not to mention beer, because when beer is the most important thing in my house, is it's not going to be fun. It's not going to be a great experience.
You think of men, they want heavier food. You think of women, they want a lighter touch on it. Or you think of the season, what you want to incorporate in it that might make it fun, like pumpkin or, you know, different things like that. I think that's enjoyable.
Her students also shared their experiences with being a student of Chef Barbara, and they seem to really love it.
As far as cooking goes now, I'm a lot more confident in cooking, and you know, I go into a store and I look around and say, well, I can do this and I can do that, and it's pretty amazing.
I have been a part of this school since I was in, I believe, sophomore year of high school. My hospitality teacher, Sarah Golf, she introduced me here. She was an alumni here as well, and I've been talking with Maggie and Chef Barbara this whole time, and they've just been great, and they re-accepted me, and it was awesome. It was great. Love it here.
And as for including gastropub food in your own home, I found a great way. I attended a cooking program called Food and Wine Enthusiast Program. These classes are taught by chefs at the Upper Valley campus. I was really excited to be part of Chef Barbara's first gastropub cooking class.
Just the warning, I've never cooked in my life, and
That's
my
good.
first time I'm on camera, so
Yay,
alright.
you're in the right place. Okay, so the first thing you're gonna do is hold your plastic wrap there and just kind of pull that together. Hold it up here, okay? Don't hold this piece.
All right.
And you're gonna pull it back. It does take a little practice, but you can fiddle around with it at home. I've been training her all day on how to make tater tots. She's just arrived. She's never done them in her life. I can swear by it. That's pretty good. Okay, great. Now, drop that, and you're gonna roll all the potatoes all the way up to the end of the plastic wrap. Yep, just roll them up. Perfect.
Okay.
Great. So she's on track, right? Now, if it wants to slide around on here, like if it's not rolling, the trick, and this is, you can do this for rolling anything into a log. You want to roll butter into a log to do nice little slices for the top of the steak. You want to roll cookies into a log so you can just cut them out and place them on. Do it like that. Just make sure that your countertop is a little down. Okay, Lindsay, pick up both ends, okay? And now roll it away from you. There you go. And now pinch it and bring it back. There, she's a pro. Okay, great.
Good job.
Sorry for putting you on the spot. Okay, that's it. Okay? Okay, beautiful.
My team had to make the meatball sliders, and I was assigned to cut the onions, except there was a problem. I don't even know how to cut onions.
Like this, so you don't cut it?
Cut it this way.
Yeah, like that.
And then I cut it that way.
We're gonna do the popcorn. You're gonna get everything
Cut it
prepped.
through?
We're gonna do this very last minute, because otherwise the popcorn will be right.
This does not look the same way he did it, so I don't know what I'm doing.
More garlic.
I don't know what I'm doing wrong. Maybe I should just pile it up. Looks like an onion. Yeah, there.
One small.
And now I'm gonna cry because the onions are making me cry and I don't know what I'm doing. So this looks weird.
After a while, I think I got the hang of it.
Look, I'm doing it. Okay, those are good to go, I think.
Yeah, I know. So, okay, so it's either
Right, so I put it in there. All right. Here we go. What am I doing with this?
Alright, squeeze it out. So,
Squeeze
yep,
it?
Yep, you don't have to get all the milk out, but you don't want it to be dripping anymore. And don't worry about if it tears, because you're going to be tearing it up over there.
we're serious about our franchise. I know the gal was laying out everything is good double flour. Where's your thing? Does it say times 2?
It's like I'm milking a cow, but I'm milking a bread.
Roll it, cut it.
Meanwhile, the rest of the class were cooking some good stuff.
While you're not frying it, let's put it somewhere warm.
Good stuff.
Okay. Right here, I'm gonna come in behind you.
Keep on flipping.
Yeah. Out of the way. Alright, sweet. Sorry.
We need a plate, right? Hello? Whatever, just a small side plate. And I want you to put them all like this with the label facing the customers, okay?
And then the food was ready. Come on, you know that looks delicious.
Wouldn't that be weird? That would be weird. The onions, and I could not cook them after that. They would not cook. I only smoked them for 10 minutes.
So, these are the ones that my group made, and I was a part of that group. So, technically, I cooked something today. All right, let's see how it goes. I didn't ruin it. Yeah.
The food was amazing, and I honestly had such a good time that I would recommend everyone in Napa Valley to take the Food and Wine Enthusiast program. For more information on how you can sign up, visit napavalleycookingschool.org. Of course, good gastropub food deserves good beer, and microbrews have become more and more trendy. You can always serve your favorite beer and drinks and experiment by adding some of the many microbrews on the market. Just look online for microbeer, brew pubs, and craft brews in Napa Valley and have fun shopping. There's another alternative though. Chef Matt Noble teaches us how to make our own beer. Chef Noble is a graduate of Napa Valley Cooking School, a professional brewer, and an avid home brewer. He shared his talent, knowledge, and enthusiasm for crafting beer at home in his first advanced home brewing class held through the Food and Wine Enthusiast program.
10 years ago now, I started homebrewing with buddies in San Francisco. I met a guy from Atlanta who brought all of his homebrewing equipment. He fitted just on the back of his moving truck from Atlanta to San Francisco and had it stored in his Tenderloin studio apartment, which was getting kind of cumbersome for him. So I was nice enough to take it all off his hands and store it in my garage. And we started homebrewing. You can start with, like today's class we taught was an all grain. So it's really starting with the raw ingredients. You can bypass some of those steps and do what they call extract brewing, which is gonna give you a kind of a jump start on the brew day. So you can do it pretty much with a kettle, a pot on the stove, and the extract ingredients, and then some yeast. And I think it's pretty straightforward at that stage. And then if you want it, you can always make it as complicated as you want to be. So the first thing you need is some way to boil your wort, to boil your basic the starting ingredients. You need, if you're doing from extract, you're going to boil the extract in water. If you're doing all grain brewing, you need a little more equipment. But the first thing you need is a kettle. You need some pot to boil your wort in. And once you go from there, you need a fermenter. So you're going to need either a glass jar, which they call a carboy, or you're going to need a bucket, just a good old-fashioned white 5-gallon bucket, and you can ferment your beer in that. So basic ingredients: kettle and fermenter, which it could either be glass carboy or a bucket.
Chef Matt Noble also shared what he loves to eat most for Super Bowl Sunday.
You gotta have chips and dip on Super Bowl Sunday. So I think depending on the beer you're brewing, you can pair food with any different type of beer. The beer I make professionally at Trumer is a Pilsner style, which I think most like light lagers, like a Pilsner, will go well with just about any food. But as far as Super Bowl snacks go, chips and queso, that's kind of my standard.
And of course we had lunch. We all went into the kitchen and sat down to a lovely setting. Tables decorated simply with olive branches and grape leaves. Matt's lovely wife, Chef Maggie, and the students from Napa Valley Cooking School made the perfect gastropub lunch. After lunch, I sat down and spoke with interested homebrewers Elizabeth and Jim Monk.
We've started making wine the last couple years with friends, and brewing is just an interesting concept. We've had a great time in this class just learning about the different vocabulary, how important sanitation is.
We've even learned a new sanitation way to
new products to use for our own winemaking.
Got to drink and eat. No, a lot of it, it's all about how you put it together. A lot of it's the same and a lot of it's different. So now we gotta go home and try it.
Yeah, we're definitely gonna go home and try making wine.
We hope you enjoyed our show today, and remember to drink responsibly.